And this is 60 Gang, aka Monroe Appliance Repair. I'm having me a hell of a day. I've been booked up today, December 23rd, 2024. Seems like everybody need work. I've been up since 6 this morning, and I got 2 more people to see. So now I gotta text my man and let him know when he can expect me. We're heading downtown. En route, ETA. One hour, 45
minutes. You have a message.
Yeah.
You have a message.
Yeah.
Item. Refrigerator. $488. One. Replace drain pump. Defrost. Freezer. Bill 2. $14.37 Palmer Drive, Monroe. Zip code is where is it? How come on the apps I never found what I'm looking for? $14.37 Palmer Drive. Zip code is 30656. Save. There's no. and then do the other half. It is now 3:53. We should arrive downtown Atlanta at 5:25. And now I'm going to let us listen to my boy, Mr. Bear, coming here. Well, y'all watch me go.
Must treat other people as we hope to be treated.
You want to be a rebel? You want to be a hippie? You want to stick it to the man? Show up on your college campus and try calling yourself a conservative.
America is going to reach heights that it has never seen before. The future is going to be amazing.
Do you want healthy children? Or do you want a president that's going to make America healthy again?
Come to you today as a former Democrat. I will be a first-time Trump voter tonight.
The people dreamed this country, and it's the people who are making America great again.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
You better not take me back to 78. I know that guy. Yes, ma'am.
Hey, babe, how's everything going?
I'm getting beat now. I'm getting tired.
You are?
Yeah, I'm headed downtown
So you
now.
want to wrap it up?
Nope, I'm headed downtown.
Downtown where?
North Street.
Oh, that's right here by me.
No, it's Bellemeade Road.
Oh, he's going back over there. He got the refund? Oh, this sounds familiar.
No, this is the piece that we was researching last night. And then I got one after that, so it's gonna
Monroe, you took care of that one already?
I'm leaving Monroe now. I'm headed downtown.
Oh, okay.
And get some gas.
How many times you filled up today?
What? None. I'm going to fill up as soon as I find me some gas. But shit, I've been all over. I just come out of Athens and Monroe now. Downtown we go. And then I gotta go to Brookhaven after that.
Is that your last stop?
Brookhaven's the last stop. Yeah. Oh, you saw me moving, huh?
I did.
God is watching.
You know I'm watching. You know I'm watching. You know I be looking.
Making it happen on a glass of water.
You need to stop and eat something.
Ain't got time. I got to eat it. And I got to work tomorrow in Lithonia.
Oh, you do?
Yes, a job in Lithonia.
47. Just one?
So far.
Oh. Alright, I'll call you right back. Call you back.
Really nailed this. What we just saw or heard about. Hopefully, some of you guys haven't seen it. I seen it over the last 24 to 48 hours. His speech in Arizona, and he brought up Rachel Marin's mother, and I thought it was so appropriate that I want to lead with that today. So let me see if my button here is going to work. Nope, not going to work. So I'm going to have to do this manually.
Thank you. The first time I met President Trump in person, he invited us to lunch, my attorney and I. And to be honest, I didn't do anything. I just sat there. I didn't really speak because I wanted to watch the man and listen to what he had to say and what his conversation was like, because I knew he wasn't a politician, but I knew that he had been president before. And I wanted to see if he was a real, authentic man who actually cared for the American people. And so I watched him. I watched how he interacted. I also watched how much his staff really respected him and how much his staff loved working for him. But the thing that changed the way that I looked at him as a person was I realized that he was a dad, that he was a grandfather, and when you spoke to him, you could see in his eyes that he genuinely cared about his fellow human being. But the thing I appreciate the most is that he heard the cries of a mother us that he was going to protect us and that he was going to help us. And that's all you can ask from your president, but also just from a fellow human being. And so I personally, I am so honored to know this man and to think of you as a friend.
Attempted assassination. Yeah. And watching that happen and watching America's response to that, everybody on our campaign kind of paused. We paused. We really were thinking to ourselves that it would be somehow inappropriate, to let this former president, potential future president, continue on a campaign and go up against a man who's literally risking his life. Bobby had a certain attempts on his life too, but nothing like that. Right. And so this was all happening at the same time. And then Trump does something that was really extraordinary. He calls Bobby the day of almost dying. And he wants to talk about children's health. He's like, there's something to it. And I mean, that was enough for me. Really? Yeah. Really? You have to judge people and how they respond to the most trying days of their lives. That's how I judge people, how they respond and react. When people come back from almost dying, and you see what their first activities are, those are very intentional activities. And so behind the scenes, it was we all were like, this guy cares, and he's sincere, and if he wants to sit at the table, hell yeah, we're gonna sit at a table with him.
Hell yeah, we're gonna sit at the table from him. I wanted to show you that because the heartfelt moment that Miss Marin had with Trump, and then that was Nicole Shanahan, when she, got in and, working with RFK Jr., she got to realize this is a real guy, and he's got real feelings for.
Thank you for calling. Check out empty phone. Please hold while I try to connect you.
Edit. Didn't about to get clicked on.
What's up? Who?
That damn.
What?
That bullshit.
Babe, what are we getting your mom?
I don't know.
Because I was.
It's kind of too late for that, ain't it?
No, you can always send her something. You didn't think about what you was going to send her?
Nope. Son, huh? What you did for your mom?
I didn't send her anything.
That's mean you both in the same, didn't send you anything both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The last thing we did for our mothers was Mother's Day. But, what did my mom do for Mother's Day? At least you get to talk to your mother every day, get advice. And,
yeah, we'll call her tomorrow and talk. Let's call her tomorrow.
Okay.
Now I'm on my way to Stonecrest. Stonecrest, wherever.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to Stonecrest, not the mall, but that's the. That's the address.
I was getting some.
Stonecrest. I tried to put in
I thought you was picking me up something else.
I tried to put in Lithonia.
Yeah, you know.
Down quick.
Yeah, depending on the zip code you put in, you know, Stonecrest wants to be there.
303A.
Yeah, Stonecrest want to be their home.
They own city now. That means they got their own cops too.
Yep.
They got tired of taking care of you motherfuckers. I remember that too. They got their own little mayor now and shit.
Yeah. And remember, that's where they're supposed to be putting Black Wall Street. Good luck
with that. Does that include your pop-up tent?
What do you mean?
Does that mean black business include your Wall Street? Does that include you and your pop-up tent? Does that mean you can go over there and get your pop-up tent at Stonecrest?
Probably, but that's not my zip code.
But you black.
It won't do nothing. I don't live in.
Oh, you gotta live there.
I think so.
She gonna be long over there.
So where do I start? Because I would like to
start by fixing your credit.
Okay, but that's what I'm doing now. I've already knocked off one.
You saw my number, right?
I already knocked off one. Yeah, I don't think I'll ever get to that. I don't think I'll ever get to that.
Never say never.
You got a mortgage.
Never say never.
Yeah, but you have a mortgage that is helping you get to that number.
You know, I had a 500 score when I got the house. 525 was my score when I got that house.
And look, but your mortgage, by you paying your mortgage monthly, that is helping your credit score rise. By you taking care of your credit cards and also taking care of your
what I told you to do?
And let me ask
No. Paying off your credit card in full every month is the way to do it. That's what I
With the $25?
Don't pay the minimum. Pay it all. Pay the balance. Not the minimum. That's $25. Are you gonna cross the line or what?
Well, my credit card I owe half $250 because it's a $500 credit card.
You gotta pay the whole
$250 on it.
Pay the whole.
And then the other credit card I gotta pay $150.
Pay the whole $150. That's how you start. And you gotta build a history.
And keep them both at
zero.
And keep them both at zero.
Right. And then when you use them, whatever you add up, make sure when the statement come in, that's what you pay. Never pay the minimum. Pay it all. Then the score start clicking then. See, you follow their instructions, they make money off of you. You do what I tell you to do, you make money off of them. They get pissed off when you don't do what they tell you to do. They want you to pay the minimum so they can get that interest. Interest take away from the balance. You figure deal me?
Yes.
Let's see, I am going back past the house to go to Stonecrest. It's trying to take me to 20. That's bullshit.
Well, no, we only do 4 hours today. We only got a half a day.
Oh, you about to get off in another hour?
Yeah. And then you have your food I put up. You should have told me. I would have put it up last night, even though I was dog tired. I don't like stuff like that sitting out. But I put it in the refrigerator up for you, so you can eat that when you come in or whatever. You want to do that, or you want me to pick up something from Alpina's?
I'll finish eating.
Okay, because I'm about to I'm gonna clean up. I gotta do my turkey. I gotta get me injectable butter. I wanna do that.
What time?
Would you think I should do that?
After you
I wanted to season it and marinate it tonight.
I said after you help me with the tent.
We doing that today? because I got things to do. I gotta get detergent.
This guy got.
I gotta finish cleaning my house.
This guy got him a shovel underneath his car, just like you used to have.
Detergent. I need detergent. I need eggs. I need mac and cheese. You said you wanted a banana.
And a banana
you
pudding
want a
sweet
banana
That's all we need.
pudding, sweet potato. You don't want apple.
Pecan.
Sweet potato.
Sweet potato. Banana.
Huh?
Pecan pie, sweet potato pie, banana pudding. That's it.
Sweet potato pie.
Pecan pie.
Why pecan?
Why not?
I would rather apple.
No apple.
I would rather apple. I don't
You
eat
see,
pecan.
he said, well, let me
pie.
take that pecan pie with me. This. She said, you should love pecan pie.
Yeah, I don't eat that shit.
We eat pecan pie.
Now, mac and cheese, stuffing, bird, and a green. I need a green. What's the green?
I think we need to stick to turkey.
I did. We're gonna have the deep fried turkey, the stuffing. Right, you're gonna make the stuffing, right?
Okay.
Or you want me to pick it up from Boston Market? Y'all got a Boston Market over here?
You have to Google it.
Because we can do collard. I don't know how to make collard greens, but or like string beans or broccoli. One of these greens we gotta have with the food. Banana pudding, sweet potato pie, pecan, apple pie, mac and cheese, eggs. I need detergent. Oh, I need spinach leaf for my eggs. I'm gonna cook us a nice breakfast. I need spinach leaf. You got your turkey. You got turkey sausage and turkey bacon. You got pork sausage and pork bacon. You good on your pork. I'm trying to get everything that I think I'm going to need tomorrow because everything is going to be closed. Nothing is going to be open tomorrow. Walmart is closing down. Okay, let me call these people. I got to cancel people for the 26th. So I'm going to call you back. I'll call you back.
Sure, cool.
All right.
Now you back? Blogs. It's a what? It's a what? He's got a what? He's got a what? He's got a Kenmore Elite. Top loader. Filled up. Back to 78. Got the little tablet and your cell phone and your little tablet. What's up, 60 gang? Good morning. It is 10:56. Good morning to those who woke up today, Christmas Eve. Happy birthday to those born today, December 24th. And my condolences to those who didn't make it New Year's Eve. This is your boy, Doug, 60 gang. And I would be home, but I had a phone call who said, it's money. Come on outside. So I came on outside. Anytime money call, I go outside, see what it wants. So yeah, I'm out here grinding. I just now leaving Athens. I got to go to Stonecrest. I heard that's a new city now. So it used to be Lithonia, but they separated themselves from Lithonia. They are now Stonecrest. So I'm going to Stonecrest to look at a Kenmore top load washer. And that's overfilling. He said the water filled the daggone wash machine up and flooded. What did he say? He said it flooded the laundry room because it kept overflowing. So that means that when a top loader fills with water, there's a tube on the outside of it that's connected to the inner tub, and it's like a straw, and that straw goes into the load switch that's on the top loader for small load, medium or large load. Y'all know that function. What actually happens is when there's no water in the tub's filled with air naturally, right? So when you turn on the washing machine and it begins to fill for whatever load you pick, it small, medium, or large. As the water goes into the tub, the air in the container of the tub leaves the tub. That air is controlled by a tube that's located at the base of the tub. So as water fills, the air leaves, and that is the water pressure. The pressure meaning air. As the water fills, the air leaves, and the pressure of that air is fed back to the switch. And it's supposed to, based upon the load you're picking, it will trip like 3 levers. The air pressure trip small load, or if you got a medium load, then that one will be there and it'll trip the medium load. Or if this load is not selected and it want a large load, then the air pressure will trip that switch, and that switch will turn the water off. In this case, that's not happening, and the water it's not hitting the switch. It's just filling and filling. So we got to go see what his issue is. I'm gonna see if I can put it in the service mode and get it to drain. That's a spin function. Depending on his controls. A lot of times they'll get debris in the little tube so the air can't get back to the load switch. Or it may be a bad switch. But we got to find out. So I'm 16 headed west, about to get off to 78 east. I'm 78 west to Loganville, and I'm gonna peel off to Stonecrest Mall. I think I'm gonna go Stonecrest Mall. Stonecrest. I can keep going to Loganville, or I can coming down 78 east. It's going 78 west. That's too far. I go by my house and go the way I normally go. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. This guy can't make up his mind whether he want to go right or left. Funky ass. So that's what I'm up to, 60 gang. Out here grinding. I wanted to be home, but money calls, baby. Everybody's trying to have a podcast. Miss me with that bullshit. Listen to Derek.
Determined there is substantial evidence that Matt
I don't
Gaetz
believe anything that I hear, and only half of what I see.
The report lists payments totaling more than $90,000.
Half of what I see is a lack of an indictment.
Engaged in rampant illicit drug use.
How about we release the report on the slush fund?
And Gaetz has denied any improper conduct.
So what is this really? This looks like a political hit job to me. Matt Gaetz House Ethics Report. A lady was burned alive on the subway in New York City, and Joe Biden is still granting clemency to murderers. All of these stories and more in this video, but let's start with CBS and what they had to say about Matt Gaetz.
CBS News has obtained a final draft of the House Ethics Committee report on former Congressman Matt Gaetz. The bipartisan committee, led by Republicans, includes some shocking allegations. Scott McFarland has the latest. Scott, good morning.
Hey, Adriana, good morning to you. This report's findings determine there is substantial evidence that Matt Gaetz had sex with a minor, engaged in rampant illicit drug use, and violated multiple state laws while in office. The report lists payments totaling more than $90,000 to 12 different women between 2017 to 2020 and alleges the money was likely connected to sexual activity and drugs, including cocaine and ecstasy.
Now, you guys already know what I had to say on X. We already knew about these allegations, right? I mean, they've been talking about it for the last few months, especially when Matt Gaetz was nominated for Attorney General. Secondly, with all this energy, money, and resources, you would think there should have been an indictment. I mean, they have an indictment against Mayor of New York City, Eric Adams. They got an indictment against President-elect Trump, but they don't have an indictment against Matt Gaetz. What's going on here? And number three, can we see a report on every congressman and congresswoman? I mean, how about that? If we're going to get this petty, right, and stoop to this level, why don't we just do it for everybody, right?
The committee also obtained testimony that alleges Gaetz had sex twice with a 17-year-old girl. The victim told the committee she recalled receiving $400 in cash from Gaetz, which she understood to be payment for sex. Gaetz is also accused of creating a fake email from his Capitol Hill office for the purpose of purchasing marijuana and referred to drugs as party favors, rolls, and vitamins. The report did not uncover sufficient evidence of violations of federal sex trafficking laws, and Gaetz has denied any improper conduct, writing last week that his behavior in his 30s may have been embarrassing, though not criminal.
Now, before I give you guys my rant about all of this, here's what Matt Gaetz had to say on X. Giving funds to someone you are dating that didn't ask you for it and that isn't charged for sex is now prostitution, ? There's a reason that they did this to me in a Christmas Eve report and not in a courtroom of any kind where I could present evidence and challenge witnesses. This is testimony from one of the alleged prostitutes that you won't see in the report. Takes some balls to obviously post something like this. And here's what that screenshot stated. I never charge anyone anything. Like I said, it was just given. Now, other people in the comment section said things like this. Here's Andrew Tate. You were attacked by the Matrix. Another user stated, again, regardless of the report, these are still allegations, and the release of this report is peculiarly timed. The Democrats know no shame. This is a mean, devious, and typical Democratic lawfare ploy. Shame on them. And another user wrote, which I want to see more of, how about we release the report on the slush fund money for Congress that's allocated for the sexual conduct that they participate in, meaning the government actively pays people off so that these individuals who work in Congress are not exposed. And here's Elon Musk back in November writing this. As for these accusations against him, I consider them worth less than nothing. Under our laws, a man is considered innocent until proven guilty. If A.G. Garland, an unprincipled douchebag, could have secured a conviction against Gaetz, he would have, but he knew he could not. Case closed. So the obvious question is, well, what do you think about this, DeVore? Well, my common sense reaction to this is always the same, which is I don't believe anything that I hear and only half of what I see. And the half of what I see is a lack of an indictment. There's been no civil suit brought against him, no criminal charges brought against him, no public statement made by the Attorney General of the United States saying that they are investigating Matt Gaetz for criminal acts. So what is this really? This looks like a political hit job to me. Now, let me clarify something. This was actually released December 18th, but it was leaked to the network of CBS today. So they've had it for quite some time. They've known about this already. And here's Congressman Burchard on CNN responding when they first announced it on December 18th. Here you go.
First of all, your reaction to this decision by the House Ethics Committee to release the Matt Gaetz ethics report. Do you support that? No, I don't. I think Matt's out of Congress, and I'm going to push for the Ethics Committee to release all the findings they have on every congressman, because if it's good for one, it's good for all of them.
And here's the other thing about all of this. We're talking about a draft report that was leaked, not the official report, not the certified report. This is a draft report, which could still have corrections, of course. That's number one. Number two, again, I go back to it. Why did the Attorney General not prosecute or indict Matt Gaetz? I want you guys to answer that in the comment section below. Now, before we move to the next story, if you guys are getting value from today's show, please do us a favor, like, share, and subscribe to our channel. If you do want to support us further, go to the link in the description below, shop the merch store, or you can buy us a cup of coffee. Now, it is no secret that the New York City subways are not a safe place to be. Just recently, a lady was burned alive on the subway. Now, wait till you hear who actually did it. Let's take a look.
DHS sources now telling Fox that the suspect arrested after fatally setting a woman on fire on the New York City subway yesterday is a previously deported illegal migrant from Guatemala. Those sources say he was arrested and deported in June of 2018 after crossing illegally into Arizona. He then re-entered the United States illegally as a getaway at an unknown time and location. DHS has no record of him entering the United States again. So this is one of the alleged gotaways that we know where they ended up. There are thousands, hundreds of thousands of others we have no clue about.
Now, this story is just outrageous. Let's just be honest about it, right? It once again confirms exactly everything that Trump was saying about illegal migration to the United States of America, and how much the media kept trying to diminish that claim. This is another confirmation that it is a problem. Citizens don't want to hear an illegal migrant burning American citizens alive, and citizens also don't want to be lied to from the media about what's actually happening in their own neighborhoods. And that's why today's sponsor is Ground News. Head over to ground.news/Devori to check them out today. Now, allow me to show you how powerful this tool really is. We looked up the story that we're talking about, the woman that was set on fire on a New York City subway. Now, this tool will import all of the articles and label it based on what side that it leans. So articles that lean left and articles that lean right, and just check out how biased they can be. Now, for example, here's an article that leans left. Man arrested for setting woman on fire in NYC subway murder. And then here's an article that leans right. Illegal immigrant arrested in connection with women's nightmarish NYC subway death. So you could tell how one side doesn't want to notice that he's an illegal migrant, but the other side does. And this is why Ground News has something called the bias distribution score that tells you which way does this story overall lean.
District Attorney Fani, F-A-N-I, last name is Willis.
And we are back, y'all. Go ahead and hit that like button. You know it helps us out. And you'll know that Fani Willis's case against Donald Trump, at least as Fani is concerned, is all but over. The appeals court in Georgia said that due to the appearance of impropriety, basically saying because things don't look right, Fani, you got to get up off that case. Now, this got me to thinking, y'all. Fani cannot go after Trump. But Trump, in very few days, in about less than 4 weeks now, Trump's going to be the president. So that means Fani can't go after Trump, but Trump, as president, he's going to be over the United States Justice Department. And it got me to thinking, couldn't Trump maybe go after Fani if he wanted to? Now, y'all, I am not saying I would like to see this happen. In fact, I don't like seeing political prosecutions. So I am certainly not saying I'm a fan of this. But I know many of you out there are. And I think that there is some history, some precedent, something that we've seen in the past that might make us think that this could very well happen. So I imagine that Fani is, Fani, she looks like the type of person who, she keeps it cool as a cucumber. As we can see her on the stand right now, she's not tripping, she's not sweating anything. but maybe she should be thinking about her political and legal future. Let's take a look at what some other people had to say about the fears they have and that people they know have about Donald Trump being president again.
There are plenty of people in Washington and around the country who are trying to game out what a potential second Trump administration would look like. And that includes a number of political figures and leaders who have crossed the former president and now fear revenge. NBC News has reporting on Trump critics who are bracing for potential retribution if Trump wins this November. Some say they're considering leaving the country if Trump is sworn in. Others are consulting with attorneys or setting aside funds to defend themselves if they're targeted by a future Trump administration or his allies in Congress. Joining me now is NBC News senior digital White House reporter, the great Peter Nicholas, who just broke this story. Peter, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. This is a fascinating read. Break this down. How far are some of these Trump critics going to protect themselves, and what are they telling you?
Well, first of all, it's great to be with the even greater and better Christian. So what we're hearing from them is they're quite worried about what a second Trump administration would bring. And they, as you mentioned, they are concerned that they have crossed Trump, or Trump is annoyed with them, or grieved for different reasons, and might use the tools of government, the powers of the presidency, to retaliate against them if need be.
So you might say, okay, but what has Fani done? I mean, we know she went after Trump, but what has she done that's illegal such that Trump would have a basis to go back after her, right? Because if Fani hasn't done anything illegal, then presumably she would have nothing to worry about. But remember how Fani got taken off of the case, off of the Trump case to start with. She hired a special counsel, Nathan Wade. She paid him hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. And then the accusation is that Wade then spent some of that money either on Fani or in some way benefited Fani with the money that she paid to him. Now, if that were to be proven, and I'm not saying it has been proven, there are many different problems that could arise, including the obvious conflict of interest, the misuse of public funds, possible wire fraud, possible tax violations, I mean, even money laundering. Now, again, I am not at all even insinuating that Fani is guilty of any of these things. But if somebody were so inclined to want to go after her, these are the kinds of things that they would be looking into. Even bribery or kickback statutes, federal bribery or kickback statutes could come into play. So right now, if you're Fani Willis, yes, you've been taken off the Trump case. No, that's not a crime. But the underlying reason that you were taken off could not, it doesn't mean you committed a crime, but it certainly does open itself up. It lends itself to being investigated. Now, are there any examples that we have where a prosecutor, a local prosecutor, was gone after, where the feds went after a local prosecutor? Well, there is one example that comes to mind here in Maryland. If y'all remember Freddie Gray, 2015, I think, was the year when the whole Baltimore set itself on fire over Freddie Gray. You're about to be reminded of that. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you're about to see it in this piece coming up. The prosecutor for the police officers who were allegedly responsible for Freddie Gray's death, her name's Marilyn Mosby. Marilyn Mosby was sort of a media darling at the time, tough on crime. She actually went after the police in this case, and we're going to see what happened to Marilyn. Now, this is a bit of a long drawn out news piece, but I'm going to just play it in its entirety, so y'all have some patience, sit through it, because this is me kind of envisioning want to find something if they want to prosecute her. I'm not saying that there's something to find, but they have a lot of powers to dig through a lot of paperwork, and they can go back all the way to the statute of limitations, and there's a lot that they can do. So let's get into what happened with Marilyn Mosby and see if you can kind of visualize what kind of risk Fani might be at once Trump gets those power levers under his hands and gets to decide if the person who just came after him, who was just taken off the case, if maybe she might not have a case of her own. Let's get into the Marilyn Mosby situation.
On the day of her election, she was the youngest chief prosecutor of any major city in America. But over the past few months, Marilyn Mosby has found herself on the other side of the courtroom as a defendant. After being found guilty in 2 separate federal trials, she's now facing up to 40 years in prison. As the clock ticks down to her sentencing on Thursday, she is still fighting for her freedom. ABC's Janae Norman spoke with Mosby and her attorney.
Justice is always worth the price paid for its pursuit. Always, always.
Marilyn Mosby, once Baltimore's top prosecutor, is awaiting sentencing for convictions that carry the possibility of decades in prison. Mosby and her attorney, Angela Rye, painting it as political retaliation.
What I would say first is that Marilyn is not the only one, she's the latest one. And it is remarkably egregious. Black women prosecutors, progressive prosecutors in this country have been overwhelmingly targeted. And then Donald Trump himself, who said when he was running for office that she should prosecute herself. Bill Barr, who was his attorney general, saying that there are cities like Baltimore, and he named others, that he was specifically looking at. It was by design from the very beginning a witch hunt.
Though the investigation was completed since President Biden took office, the inquiry into Mosby started under Donald Trump's presidency. Mosby rose to public prominence in 2015 with the case of Freddie Gray, seen here being arrested. He suffered a fatal spinal injury while in police custody.
That boy leg look gross.
In the midst of the unrest, Mosby moving to charge the 6 officers involved.
No one is above the law. I was one of the first prosecutors in this country to attempt to hold police officers accountable for the death of a black man. That exposure ultimately led to reform, right? Not just in the state, in the city of Baltimore, and statewide, but nationally.
The prosecution couldn't secure convictions for 4 of the officers and decided in 2016 to drop all the charges.
Tell me about your proudest moments in your role as state's attorney.
My office successfully convicted 33 police officers after Freddie Gray, those individuals that were violating the rights of citizens in Baltimore City. My office created the first conviction integrity unit in the entire state of Maryland, where we did reinvestigations into claims of actual innocence. We exonerated 13 innocent black men that collectively served 300 years in prison for crimes they didn't commit. And so to now be in a position where I'm facing the same sobering reality as each of those individuals it's incredibly disheartening.
Across 2 separate trials, federal prosecutors sought to prove she falsified documents. First, to withdraw money from her retirement account early, and then to purchase 2 homes in Florida. The first trial in November of last year was on 2 charges of perjury connected to those 2 retirement account withdrawals in 2020, both done using a provision of the CARES Act, the Congressional COVID Relief Package, one withdrawal for $40,000 and the other for $50,000.
This is not PPP loans. This is not COVID relief funding. This is me being advised and with having access, taking out my own money, the money that I put away every 2 weeks.
The prosecution accused her of lying about having a financial hardship on her request form, saying she aimed to take advantage of the law meant to give favorable tax treatment to people struggling during the height of the pandemic. They presented evidence at trial that showed she made about $9,000 more in 2020 than 2019.
Are you saying that the actions for which you were convicted, you're not saying that you didn't do those or that didn't happen? Or am I misunderstanding? No, I think that what we're saying is that it was not perjury to say that she's experienced an adverse financial consequence due to COVID. She called to ask the administrator of the Baltimore Deferred Compensation Plan if she qualified twice, right?
Nationwide, yes.
So if you call and you're told that an adverse financial consequence,
which hasn't been legally defined,
and so obviously experienced an adverse financial consequence, I think what is so remarkable to me, again, I keep using that word, is how do they know how Marilyn was impacted by COVID? She is, making decent money as a Baltimore City State's attorney. There are people who she's responsible for. None of us knew. Like, if people could remember what was happening during COVID, none of us knew what was next. We were all experiencing adverse financial consequences.
The jury found Mosby guilty on both counts. Mosby says she used the money from her retirement account to close on 2 homes in Florida, an 8-bedroom house in Kissimmee, Florida near Disney World, and a condo in Longboat Key on the Gulf Coast. Prosecutors presenting evidence at trial accusing Mosby of falsely stating in a letter to the lender that she'd received an outstanding $5,000 as a gift from her then husband, Baltimore City Council President Nick Mosby. In reality, they say she transferred those $5,000 to him and then he transferred it back. The gift letter is the only accusation the jury convicted Mosby on in the mortgage fraud trial.
The thing here is that they almost make it seem like wiring money between spouses is money laundering.
One thing that critics online are saying, they're like, wait, this 40 years, you're not actually facing 40 years. Yes, that is possible, but it's highly unlikely. Prosecutors are asking for 20 months. But you're saying even more than the jail time, that not only has the personal effects on Marilyn, but it sends a message.
It sends a major message. And I think the other thing that we have to keep in mind is the type of crime. This gets right to the heart of her integrity, her honesty, and her character.
The investigation was extremely expansive. They combed my taxes. They went through my campaign contributions. They were looking at my charitable donations. They were knocking on neighbors' doors at 5 a.m. to interrogate my hairdresser, my children's dance instructors. They sent subpoenas to all of the black churches a few months before my election, all to create an environment in which I would be isolated and villainized in the media, and ultimately I lost my election as a result of it.
She says her 2022 indictment has taken a toll on her personal life, including her marriage. She and her husband, now divorced, and she says she worries about the impact her going to prison would have on their 2 teenage daughters.
They've done this intentionally to break me. To break me psychologically, spiritually, professionally. I lost my election. Financially, I've spent hundreds and thousands of dollars trying to defend myself against these ridiculous accusations. I lost my marriage as a result of this. He's a public servant, him just recently losing his election.
ABC News reached out to the Department of Justice for comment, but officials declined. Though they have said in court filings, Miss Mosby was charged and convicted because she chose to repeatedly break the law, not because of her politics or policies. She's now seeking a pardon from President Biden, fearing a conviction could lead to the Bar Association taking away her license to practice law.
The pardon is because it erases the slate. It will come in to correct an injustice.
So what does life look like for you Friday and beyond?
Friday, and I will say, based off of my faith, I know that God will have the final say. And my hope is that I will walk out of that courthouse and be able to start my life again, rebuild my life with my little girls.
Being corrupt is not a reason to be pardoned. And until she's convicted, she can't get a pardon. A pardon has to be an admission of guilt, so she's trying to keep her license so she can continue doing what she's doing. She would have never done what she did. She would have never got in trouble. Everything you do has a consequence, so, in the eyes of the judge and the jury, she was guilty of what she did. She had to pay the consequences. What I hate about this Biden administration is that corruption takes care of corruption. But what all he's doing by letting all these murderers and rapists out, it just lets you know the kind of character Joe Biden is. It's been a nightmare. And nightmare ends January 20th. And it just seemed like everything he did not make sense. Everything in the Biden administration appeared to be working against the United States citizens. So, good riddance of the Biden administration. I know he's doing everything he can do to spend all our money before he get out of it. He's trying to do that, but I guess the only question I've got is that why is he spending all our money? Why is he giving Ukraine money to continue fighting an endless war? Why does he work against the country of America? And the main question I have with these undocumented migrants that are assaulting and killing American citizens, how come we can't hold the Biden administration accountable and file a lawsuit for each and every murder that occurred under his administration by an illegal immigrant? I don't see why he should not have to pay for that. And he should also be sued for selling the wall that's been sitting on the ground for the past 4 years. That wall, even though it was not assembled, still belongs to the American people. They paid for it with their tax money, and for him to sell the taxpayers' property without authorization, I don't care who he is, he should be prosecuted. That's still theft, in my picture. This is your boy Doug, 60 Game. Thanks for joining me. Merry Christmas. I may or may not vlog tomorrow, but who knows? Who sees? I might show you what we cooking up. So y'all have a blessed day. We'll see you later. God bless you all. Goodbye.